everybody? Welcome to the TuVues podcast, man. We're glad to be with y'all again, our first time this new year. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm Dr. Keith. On the line with me, I got my partner in crime, Kev G. Who's sitting down with us. I'm saying sitting down with us like you ain't the creator and co-host. But y'all know how we do it over here, man. Editor, everything, man. Poster. I talk like he was one of the guests. But man, we just happen to be with y'all this new year, man. It's gonna be a great year. I already can feel it, man. It's already starting off great, even with the turmoil, man. I'm feeling good about what's going on. And man, we didn't do it on purpose, man. But let's go ahead and shout out them Red Devils. We both unconsciously wore our Eureka College Red Devils. Salute to the Red Devils, man. Love
Red
y'all.
Devils, what up? What up? What up? What up? You know, hey, so all y'all out there, man, that got kids getting ready to go to college, especially if they football players, man. Look into Eureka, man. Coach Barth over there on the football team, he the real deal. You got a kid that want to play, he want to get his education. Hey, check out EC.
Yeah, man. We never told the full story of us. How we got into Eureka, man, but Eureka was a life changing for us, right? Even though it's a small liberal arts school, man, coming from Blackburn and what we dealt with there, man, Eureka was a breath of fresh air, man. The camaraderie, the friendship, the family, the events, the parties, right? So it's a breath of fresh air, man. I'm glad.
Yes,
thanks for BJP LeVar, man, for getting us down there to Eureka, man. And y'all changed our lives with that move, man. So if you're looking into a great liberal arts school for your kid, man, look up the Red Devils, man. Small liberal arts school in Eureka, Illinois, in between Peoria and Bloomington, Illinois, man.
Yeah, and they getting more and more committed to diversity. So just check it out, man. They're doing big things.
Yes, sir.
So man, let's jump right into it. Y'all know how we start this thing, God, man. We should start calling this KFG's Top 5. No, but since it's both of them, we can't call it TuVues Top 5. We're gonna jump to right now.
KFG's Top 5. This your thing, man. You made this up. It's gonna be KFG's Top 5. Let's get it.
It could be KFG's Top 5, man. But this one gonna be an interesting one, man. Like something that y'all probably don't expect, man. We're gonna go top 5 cereal of all time. Top 5 cereal of all time. I'm gonna let Keith go first. I think he got his already stirred up, so.
Yeah. And if you don't know, man, this is just us having fun about just debating some of our likes and dislikes of our top 5 things, man. We're just having fun before we kick off the series of the show. Let me go to my number 5, man. You're going to think I'm crazy. All y'all from the hood, man, who was a wicked kabooms. Number 5.
Stop, drop, kaboom.
Kabooms. If you grew up in the Harrison Humble, grew up in the hood and kabooms, ain't in your top 5, we got a problem. Now, one thing I know people putting King Vitamins ain't in nobody's top 5. I don't care what nobody say. It's 2 cereal that ain't nobody top 5. King Vitamins and Pops. Right?
Smacks.
Matter of fact, Smacks, Apple Jacks, them better not be in nobody's top 5. All right. So my 5 is kabooms, man. My 4, you gonna think this is crazy. This is not one that stands out, but Frosted Flakes. I like the Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes are more than good. They're good.
They're facts. But that's my number 2. And then it's my number 4. Then my number 3 on the same level of the kabooms. And I gotta go with the Lucky Charms. You feel me? Get the Lucky Charms in there, right? That's my number 3. Number 4. I saw these a long time, and I had them a long time, but they always gonna be in my top 2. Peanut Butter Captain Crunch. Always gonna be in my top 2. Peanut Butter Captain Crunch. And first on the top of the list, on the top of the totem pole is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Now, let me put you on
crazy.
Man, number 1. And let me put you on a new recipe, right? This ain't even a recipe. I'm gonna show you how to do this. This is what you do. I got put on this. Maxine put me on this. This is what you're gonna do. Get your Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? Go buy some vanilla bean ice cream. Stir it up till it get real soft. Put your Cinnamon Toast Crunch in there. Man, you gonna be in heaven. Remember, I shared that with y'all. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, vanilla bean ice cream. Try it out.
Bro, that's your number 1.
That's my number 1, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Ain't nothing touching.
That's your number 1.
Yes, sir.
So let me run mine through here, okay? Then we can get into a battle on this. But I'm with you. Number 5 is my Kabooms. Kabooms got to be my number 5. But man, you said something blasphemous. You
What's
said
that?
King Vitamins ain't in nobody top 10, top 5.
Man, it better
King
not be.
Vitamins is my 4.
Stop
King Vitamins
playing.
is my 4, bro.
Stop playing. I hate King Vitamins.
Boy, add the sugar to them King Vitamins, 4.
I
Hey,
hate King
and I'm
Vitamins.
with you though. But nobody have no smacks in their top 5. Smacks look too close to roaches.
Right, especially if you
Can't
have
do
roaches.
smacks, bro. Can't do smacks, bro. All right. So I'm gonna go with my number 3. It's gonna be Lucky Charms. I mean, but I like the Lucky Charms where it got mostly the marshmallows in it because I got a sweet tooth.
Yes, sir. Yeah, same here.
My number 2 gonna be a doozy for you, but you probably disagree. Cookie Crisp.
Man,
I
you
love
get off
Cookie
this
Crisp,
channel,
bro.
man. Man, you get off this channel. You're in the top 5.
Cookie Crisp is my 2. Not just my top 5, it's my 2.
You should have put Cocoa Puffs on some cookie. Man, get off this channel.
Nah,
man.
Cookie Crisp, boy. In my top 1, undeniable number 1. It's not even comparable. Nobody can pick another cereal that tops this. Captain Crunch Oops All Berries. There is no greater cereal than Captain Crunch Oops All Berries.
Chief, get out of my face.
When last time you had some Captain Crunch Oops All Berries?
I see all the cereal you picked. That's why the top of the roof of your mouth tore up. you pick all the cereal that tore up the top of the roof of your mouth.
Hey, well, I got all kind of cavities too, boy. Add sugar to them bad boys.
Here go the Kevin. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch ain't nowhere on your list.
Nowhere.
That's blasphemy, bro. But
nowhere,
this is not what you do. Do your brother a favor. Go get a small thing of vanilla bean ice cream. Go get one of those dollar things of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with the singles. I just want you to mix up that vanilla bean real good, man. Put that Cinnamon Toast Crunch in there. Remember, I told you. Remember, Amanda told us about the grilled cheese, and I was right about that, right? All right, trust me on the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the vanilla bean ice cream, bro. Try it out.
Hey, I'm not gonna do that because I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but they not in my top. They're not in my top 5. They're not in my top 5.
You put Cooper Crisp number 2, man. Get up.
My honorable mention though is a peanut butter Captain Crunch though. I will say that's my honorable mention. But Cookie Crisp banging, man, and they had the best commercials. They're chasing that dog, chasing after them. Cookie Crisp.
Man, Honeycomb was the best commercial, but you might as well put Booty-O's on Cookie Crisp. They show me his booty.
Booty-O's, man. But no, man, that's my top 5. What I have: Kabooms, King Vitamins, Lucky Charms, Cookie Crisp, and Oops All Berries, man. Oops All Berries is ultimate. That's my cereal. Oops All Berries.
Bro, King Vitamin though, man. All right, man.
King Vitamins. I'm trying to tell you.
You lost it.
All right, man. We can jump into the topic, man. That was a good top 5. We're gonna go into this new year, trying to better ourselves, right? Better ourselves as individuals. So today we're gonna talk about self-love, man, and the importance of it, and how to build it within us, and how to focus, and also some deterrents, right? Some things that get us all focused on ourselves, and allow us to bring us to a low point. So, what is it? So for you, Kia, I ask you, what is self-love? What is it to you? What do you think self-love is?
I'm kind of circle around to that because it's so often. I just want to talk about how so often we put our passions, our wants, our loves into other things or people that we've completely forget what it means to love ourselves, and that means valuing who you are as an individual, valuing your hobbies, valuing the things you like, you dislike, and being okay with those things. Right? This is me. All right. The easiest way I can put in what is self-love is this is me, and I love me. I love what it all encompasses to be me, right? I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm an athlete, I'm a teacher, and I love every portion of that pie, right? It's loving that and understanding that these are the components that make up me, whether good or bad, um, that this is what makes up me, and and even with the bad stuff, I try to address those things and try to get better at those things. But at the end of the day, everything that makes up the pie that is Keith, I love, I respect, I cherish, and I honor for myself. I don't care if other people do it. I don't care if other um uh I don't care if I can't find it in other things or other places. I love this about me. And so I think that's for me. That's what self love is. Is no matter what other people feel about those various components of me, I acknowledge that they're a part of me, and I love them, and I nourish them accordingly.
Yeah, and for me, I agree with everything you said, 100%. And for me, it's looking at myself as who I am in a box, who I am in a box without any outside influences, and who I am inside that box without any outside influence or any of that stuff. Who am I, and do I love who I am? And if I don't love who I am, why don't I love who I am? Now I got to analyze why I don't like this, I don't like that, and get to a point where everything about me, regardless of anybody else, anybody's what they say, regardless of anything what they say or do, I love who I am, and I can die happy when I die with who I am. I can die in a good place, no matter what my circumstances, no matter if I got a lot of money, I ain't got no money. I can live a life and I can die loving who I am in its entirety, not just bits and pieces, but it's in its totality. So that's what self love
And
mean to me. And go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let's talk about the negative pieces of ourselves, right? In that pie. Let's say if there's some part of that pie. And one apple spoils a bunch. In some instances that word, but let's talk about the negatives, the negative pieces of us uh, that may um, cause animosity between a struggle, or struggle within ourselves, or struggle with other people. A part of self love is recognizing those things and dealing with them accordingly, right? Because I think you miss out on fully loving yourself is when you allow those things to fester and grow and become hindrances to your life, right? Self love means, like you said, looking at yourself in a box. This is what's great about me. These are the things I don't like about me, and addressing those things I don't like or want to get better at. That's a part of self love. It's not only loving these great things about me; it's that these are the great things that I don't have, that are or negative elements I do have, and me addressing those and getting better in those areas.
But this is something key to what you're saying. It's those negative things, right? It's recognizing those things in yourself and wanting to fix it, right? The key thing is you recognizing things that you don't find good about you. It doesn't matter what people outside think that's negative about you. That's not the focus. The focus is what do you see that's negative about you? What can you now? I'm not saying that people on the outside can't enlighten us to where we have issues. They can, but sometimes it can get to a point where some people just do that just to bring us down. Right? They point out the
Yeah.
negative stuff just to make us feel bad. We want to be able to look at ourselves in totality, find the negative pieces, like you said, and wanting to change those within ourselves. Not because somebody else said, Kevin, you this, Kevin, you're that. You don't, and sometimes it be people that don't even really know you, right? That's telling you about yourself. You don't even know me to tell me what's negative about me, right? And so you have to look at yourself for who you are and find those things and then fix them.
And I think sometimes when you talk about what other people say, I'm just talking from experience. Even when you with your therapist or with you with a friend or a significant other or whatever, and sometimes they share with us, and they are coming from a good place, right? And they are seeing some things that we are clouded by, and we immediately put up this wall, um, and become argumentative and dismissive, because we haven't we haven't um, took the time to look at ourselves in the box, right? And we don't want to be judged, and we don't want to be, or in this case, feel like we're being judged. And so what we do, we lash out and we build our walls higher, right? A key point of self love is looking at the walls that we're setting up, right, and figuring out what does it take to break those down, right? Walls are not always positive, right? They are not always to keep stuff from coming in. They keep stuff from going out.
Going out.
And so sometimes we put up these walls uh, that are not necessary for previous relationships, from previous interactions with people, that we don't take the time to have a self reflect, to self look and say, hey, how is this wall hindering me? How am I practicing self love by not allowing people in, or not allowing people to or not being vulnerable, right? Because those walls don't allow us to be vulnerable. And so with self love, there comes some form of vulnerability, and when we lose vulnerability with other people, sometimes our vulnerability with ourselves leaves too, and makes it hard for us to practice self love. And so, for me, yeah, it's about looking at the totality of you, what makes you, fixing those things that are hindering you, those walls that have caused you to create walls, so that you can operate in the best possible person, in your best possible self.
Yeah. So let's talk about what are some things that can get us off track, right? What are some things that can get us off track from loving ourselves and focusing on our growth and our in managing that direction of our lives? So for one thing I can say, um, one thing that can definitely get us off track is a lack of clear thinking. I think this life is so convoluted with things for us to do. Every moment of our day that we're awake, it's always something for us to do, and we don't have clear minds to think about what's our purpose, who we are, because we have to work, we have to take care of kids, we have to, walk the dog. I don't know. We just have our time throughout the day is always filled with something. We don't take time to really sit back and think about who we are. So I feel like um, we don't have clear minds sometimes in order to get ourselves to that self-loving spot. And we need to find time to do that. So I don't know if you have anything that you think that can get us off track. I mean, there's
I
a number
got
of
two,
things, right? We'll get into it, but there's a number of things.
I got two major ones. That and once again, this is from vulnerability and from personal experience. Um, is the need to be a part of something, and the need to connect with something or someone, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes, well, I'm gonna say often, there is this internal thing where you're like, I need to be loved, I need to be sought after, I need to be a part of something, be a part of this group, I need this camaraderie, and sometimes it becomes us, right? We start to value ourselves based on that relationship, that connection, that group that we're a part of, that we forget about us. And from my experiences, even in our intimate relationships, girlfriends, marriage, um, it's so easy for us to lose ourselves because of that connection, and it's hard to get back. Um, very doable. Easy, it's very doable to get back, but it's hard to get back because we've invested so much into those relationships and into those groups that we forget to love who we are. They become the foundation of our personalities, the foundations of our thinking, and we find ourselves thinking in a way that's more close to that person, that entity, than who we are. Or we give in to that thinking when we know this is the right thinking for us. And so just that's that needing to be a part of something, that longing for connection. Um, we know it's important to be connected and be, and all that, but sometimes we get so ingratiated in those things that they become what we love above ourselves.
And I just want to throw this out there. We did a episode on mental health, and self-love is key to mental health. If you haven't gotten a chance to listen to our mental health podcast, listen to that one. But so many people commit suicide and things like that because they don't know, they lost that love of themselves within the process. So this self-love is key to mental health. So let's talk about stressors, right? So I wrote down a list of stressors that I think cause us to lose this vision of self-love. You mentioned one, the relationships. So and I think all of mine are pretty much relationship-wise. So I got family, friend groups, and job environments, and you can add relationships to that also. But I think all of these items create what I call stressors that makes you battle self-love, because I feel like in all these things, you're looking to prove something to people, right? You're looking to sometimes put on a facade, this is who I am, and trying to please other people instead of knowing who you are and those people accepting you for who you are or not. Either you're going to accept me for who I am or you're not. If you're a talkative person and you talk a lot and people don't like that, then find you some friends that do, right? Yeah. That's who you are. Don't let anybody deter you from who you are. But I'll start with family. Like the pressures of needing to show your family or show the expectations that family pressures us with can be heavy, right? We sometimes feel like we owe our family stuff. For instance, if your family supported you all through your job or building your business, some family members feel like you owe them. Like they should be able to come to your job and get something free, or you should do this or you should do that without any type of compensation. But that's not how business works, right? Or if you finish college or let's say you win the lottery. It was what, $1.3 billion recently. Trust me, family gonna be coming out the woodwork looking for something, thinking you owe them for something, and that's not all family, right? But that's a pressure you have to battle with. What would your family think? What does your family need? What do they want? And trying to appease to the family, I think that's a huge stressor. I don't know if I've had that. That's a lie. I was gonna say I don't think I've had that stressor, but with me and you graduating college, you're a doctor. I have my 2 masters. At some times in our life, I felt like I owed my mom something. I owed my family something. I had to do this, man, because my family supported me and they had my back. So I had to do it for my family. No, I had to do it for me. Sorry, family. I love y'all to death. Mm-hmm. But I did have that feeling where I had to prove something. I had to do it for my family. I always wanted to go to the NFL. I want to buy my mom a house. I need to get my mom out the hood, my family out the hood, and I want to buy my mom a house. And this poverty thing got to go away. Guess what? That was my how I worked. I never got there. So when I never got there, then I had man, I failed my mom. I failed her, cause I wanted to do something great for her. So family can definitely be a stressor. I don't know about you, what you think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to a second, but I'm gonna say, man, you always practice self-love, man. And not family coming out to think that you owe them something, and you be like, no, I did this for me, because I always go back to that Snicker, right?
But oh my God.
Hey, I'm gonna tell the Snicker story at the end of the podcast, man. I'm telling a Snicker story, but with family, one thing
you gotta let that go, bro. You gotta let that go.
I'm telling the story. We getting that on the podcast. Hey, but with family also, as you talked about that, it made me start to think. When you talk about self-love and self-care, we live for our family. I think Jermaine hit on that a little bit on our three-part podcast about the kids becoming priority. He also hit on like your wife being your best friend and stuff like that. But so often, we lose, and I'm not even going to talk about extended family. I'm talking about your immediate family. Like when I say immediate, I'm thinking about your wife, kids, or your girlfriend, kids. I think so often we pour so much into that structure that we do forget about ourselves, especially as men, right? We pour so much into. I'm not gonna say especially men. I'm saying in general us as adults, because I start thinking about things that women do. But I think we pour so much into family that we don't take time out to practice self love, right? We don't take time to do the things that we find, to do the things that make us feel good. That's why some people struggle with exercise. That's why some people, I don't know about me. At that point in my life, I would just come home from work, kids, food, watch TV. Even though I love TV, I love movies, but I wasn't doing anything to practice self love for myself. I wasn't working out. I wasn't going to movie theaters and doing my critiques. I wasn't, writing poetry. I wasn't doing the things that I love to do that made me feel great because I was so invested into the family atmosphere. But I had to come to a realization that my family is better with me at 100%, right? And if I'm not practicing self love, I'm never at 100%. And they get the best of me when I'm rejuvenated, when I'm recharged, when I'm loving who I am as a person. They're going to get the best of me. And I would say for the past, I don't know how many years, I don't know if my family was getting the best of me. I was being a great dad, a great husband, right? That was my thing. But I wasn't doing enough for Keith to be 100% in those areas. And I think that's critical. You have to be 100% to give people the best of you.
Agree. Maybe I go back to the top to the thing about like whole my mom house thing. That wasn't even my. If you talk to my mom, that wasn't even her mom. That really wasn't even her goal or focus.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't.
Nope.
That was my goal, my focus, and me feeling bad about not being able to do it. It diminished my love for myself because I felt and that's big on me. For me, I don't know about for you, but failure is huge. I hate like failure is a big problem in my life. Like not that I fail, but how I handle failure. Like that's a big like that has always been a thorn in my side over the years. Like how do I handle when things don't go well? So like that was a failure, and it was like, but my mom was like, that's not even a point. You going to finish in college, that was the key. That was the point. Getting good job, that was the key. That was the point. But another group that we can also that can also affect our self love is our friend groups, man. And this is big with social media nowadays. Like trying to prove and show people things about you that are not you, that are different from your purpose, can cause people to stop loving themselves and go down a wrong road. For instance, I want to just throw this out there real quick for anybody that gang bangs or has people in gangs. Gangs are a great picture of a lack of self-love. Everybody that's in a gang, everybody that bangs, everybody that sells drugs are trying to prove something to someone else, to try to show people a different vision of who they truly are. You got the nice ride. I can do this. I'm tough. I'm a thug. I can fight everybody. I can't be whooped. You're trying to prove yourself. That's why you got most gangs have you do something to prove yourself in order to get into the gang. It's not really you, but in order to get in this gang and bang, you have to do a certain thing. If you truly had self-love, nothing they would ask you to do would be something that you would want to do. Because nothing that they have you do, nothing. And make that clear. Nothing gangs have you do benefit you. Nothing. And that goes with your friend groups. Your friend groups, if everything you're doing in your friend groups is appease and please those people, they're not your friends. If they cannot love you for who you are, they are not your friends. Now, this is how you know if a friend is truly your friend. If you do something wrong and they check you, they tell you about yourself. You're doing this. This ain't you. You're doing this the wrong way. A good friend will check you when you're doing things the wrong way. If you have a friend group that's not checking you, you have a terrible friend group. Simple.
That's why I love it's two groups I gotta shout out because that's why I love our friend group in college. Because of our ability to to be cool, check each other, hold each other accountable. Shout out to Josh, LeVar, Wayne, everybody else who was part of our friend group. Man, it was a brotherhood that we wasn't afraid to call each other to the carpet, and we could be who we are around each other. Right now, if you have to change, if you changing who you are, not them trying to change you, but if you're changing who you are, that's not practicing self love. And that's why the other group I got to shout out was our group in high school. Our group we all ended up being wrestlers. Well, shout out to LeVar, Pat, Matt, Diddy, that whole 2001 2002 wrestling team because you had a group of individuals who hung out, kicked it almost every day, went to practice, and we were all completely different people. The only thing that connected us was wrestling, right? But we allowed each other to be who we were with each other. We didn't have to change anything. But when a rubber met the road, we was there for each other, right or wrong.
Yeah.
For instance, when our boy was about to get jumped and we had to make the circle outside, now it's going to be one on one, right? But it was just a group where you are allowed to be you, right? And if a friend group doesn't allow you to be you, if you have to change something about yourself physically, mentally, emotionally to fit into a group, that's not practicing self love. You got to accept me for who I am. And if who I am fits into that group, okay. But I'm not going to shuck and jive to fit into your group.
Yeah.
That's not practicing self love.
Yeah, got throw one more group out there, man. OMC, man, like they'll check you in a minute too. They'll check you going down the right road. And it's one group where you gotta be thick skinned to be a part of it. Like you can't be like you gotta be thick skinned because we talk about each other, we roast each other, we have fun, we laugh, we joke. You gotta be a certain way to be in that group. But the crazy thing about it is none of us in that group have changed who we are to be a part of that group. Nobody's changed. We are who we are. We all know who we are, and that's what it is. Hate it or love it, right? So, friend group is key. Find a friend group that's solid. Go ahead.
What group? I can catch. What group was that?
OMC.
Yeah, OMC. Yep. Yeah, that man, the boys. I want to quickly go back to family really quick, and just before I go back there, just know just be a friend who allows your friend to be who they are, right? And this why I want to go back to family. How family can be one of those stressors, and this is a little telling because I knew Kevin wanted to be in NFL. I knew Kevin was the monster, right? But I was always the academic man. We in college to get our degrees. Focus on your degree. Let football come secondary. Man, stop worrying about football. You need to get your grades. And I should tell Kevin that. But then one day, I think we were like 24. No, we were still in college. No, I don't know when it was, but I'd say, hey, man, I apologize. I should have been encouraging you to go after your goal. You wanted to go to the NFL. You wanted to go to Combine. I, as your twin brother, should have been encouraging you to fight for that. But instead, I let my viewpoint of why we here, what we doing, and the fact that I always think what clouded that was the fact that I was plagued with injuries, and so my football career didn't go to where I wanted it to go because of my injuries. So I did become completely focused on academics. And so I was like, man, look, man, can't focus on your academics, man. We get your degree. You have a degree, man. I'm an accountant, man. I'm proud of you and what you're doing that. But me saying I'm proud of him becoming an accountant, doing all that, was diminishing his love and goal to want to go to the NFL. And I finally had to realize that in my 20s was like, man, I was part of the detractor of Kevin trying to practice self-love. and self care. That's what he wanted. That was his goal. I was his roadblock to his goal because, man, I listened to Kevin. Kevin listened to me, right? But his goal was to go to the NFL, and I was a block, and I had to go back and apologize for that. So family members, just don't be a roadblock. Just like friends, you let your friend be who they are. And like Kevin said with OMC, man, we are who we are when we get together, man. Hey, but you gotta have thick skin because we're gonna roast you in and out the door. But allow your friend when you come to OMC, you are who you are, and that's okay, right? And with family as well, man. We are who we are, man. But we need to start pushing each other towards our goals and pushing each other towards self love, and stop saying, "Oh man, you ain't gonna be able to do that." I mean, if that's what you want to do, let me give you some advice. But if that's what you want to do, I support you. I'm behind you 110%. And then when we stop being the roadblocks for other people, then we will stop being the barriers into their ability to access self love. I think we as individuals can be barriers to people's access to self love.
And one more area that could be a stressor. I mean, you already talked about relationships, so we got to dive back in that. But our work environments, our work environments. So professionally, I am an accountant. That job can be so stressful at times. I see so many people in accounting firms. I'm not in a firm, but we use firms, accounting firms that come in that work for us, and they got to have billable hours. They got to present themselves a certain way to a client in order to get billable hours and get jobs so they can, that's how they get their promotions. That's how they make money for the firm. So you got to present yourself a certain way. And I'll never forget going to my job and just seeing people like, I'm not a person that's just, I like talking to people and engaging with people just looking at their computer and just stressing out about what's going on the computer. Your job can be a stressor that cause you to lack self-love. It can cause you not to focus on who you are as a person. If I fed into some of that, then I would be stoic and just focus on presenting myself a certain way to people. But I am who I am. You're going to hire me for who I am. But I also say this. You have to find a job that you love. If you don't have a job that you love and you go in there every day, not focused, hating it, it's just not where you want to be, then you need to find some where you love it, or find a hobby to compensate and bring your love back, get your love back to that point. For instance, I'm an accountant. Accounting isn't my passion. I love coaching football. I love art. Those are my passions, art and football. So I coach football on the side. Accounting pays the bills. Football fulfills my heart. Art fulfills my heart. It helps me in that area. So if you are in a position where a job is bringing in the dollars, but you need to find something else, self-love fulfillment, find that hobby, find that extracurricular to fill you back up. Don't just come home every day mad and putting it off on other people because of your job. Your job can be a huge stressor to get you not focused on your self-love.
Yeah, and so I'm glad you took the words out of my mouth about loving your job, and I had hobbies down as one of our things to discuss. But I want to push back a little bit, just a little bit. This TuVues, that's the whole purpose of this, right? I'm going to disagree that you don't love accounting. I've heard you talk about accounting, and the way you talk about it shows me that you have a passion and love for accounting. This is
like
what
numbers.
I believe. I know, right? This is what I believe. I 100% believe, regardless, you have to love your job. You have to love your job. Now, there's pieces of my job I hate, right? I tell people what I do, man, that the kids are great, right? The kids are the best part of being a school administrator. There's other parts that ain't got nothing to do with kids that I hate, right? But I love being a principal. I love being an educator. I love my job. And that's why I think you love accounting, you love the numbers, but there are parts of your job that you don't like. What I want to speak to is the people who just don't simply like their job. And I'm going to be very straight with you. If you want to practice self-love, get out. I'm just, you have to have some form of love for what you do, or it's not going to be sustainable mentally or emotionally, right? How many times you have somebody you work with that's like, man, I'm leaving this job because I know I have an education all the time. I'm no longer in love with it anymore. The question was, did you ever love it in the first place? Or was there another love that you had that you circumvented because you felt like this was the career for you, right? Sometimes we believe a career path is for us, but it's not our love. For instance, law, I'm very passionate about law, and I wanted to be a lawyer. I can truly say education is my love. I still like law. I still want to do law. I still will love to practice law at some point in my life. But education is my love. You have to love what you do in order to be the best you can be at it. And I think so often people do jobs, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to make ends meet. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you have the ability to do what you love and provide for your family, go out and do it. Now, that may mean taking a pay cut, right? If you still can sustain your family dynamic and you can go do something that you love that's less stressful, that have you waking up every day happy and smiling, go do it. That smile and that feeling you get every morning is way more important than that extra $5,000-$10,000 that you're gonna get that year. It just is. It's gonna come back to you double in your energy and your wellness and your mindset. It's going to be worth more than what you took that pay cut for. So if you can do it, if you can manage your finances and be able to go out and do something that you love to do, man, do it. You got my support 110%.
And one thing you said was about you having to do certain things to make ends meet, having to do a job to make ends meet. So I say to those people who have to do a certain job to make ends meet, do it with a joyful heart. And you can't do anything with a joyful heart without having self-love, right? Try to figure out how to do that job for as long as you need to do it with a joyful heart and with self-love. And this is a big thing I want to say. Not big, but I just got to say it. For those of you that work in customer service and that is not your forte, get out. Get out of it. I mean, if that means if you work at McDonald's and customer service ain't your thing, find another job. If you got to call people on the phone or they got to call you and you got to respond to them and that ain't your thing, get out of it. Because you personally, with your attitudes and how you come across to people, can ruin somebody's day just by the way you talk to them. So if that's not your forte, if that's not something you want to do, customer service is a big place where you have to have the right people in it. You have the right people who enjoy being service to the customer. If that's not your job, I don't want to hear you working a drive-through. Maybe you should be back on a grill. You should, and I think certain people managers got to see that too, man. He's not a customer service person. You got to go flip some patties, homie.
But don't you think that goes back to self-love, though? Right? A lot of people people are just not good at certain jobs. And certain people are just put in a position that is draining and stressful, or they have not experiencing self-love. And so that comes across through their presentation. That's why I'm a proponent of all jobs offering mental wellness programs, right? Counseling, therapy for free for their employees. I think a lot of times I'll be honest with you, Kevin, I rarely think people are not good at customer service. I just think they got other things going on. No, that's what I'm saying.
We disagree on that.
No, I'm not saying that they're not bad at it. I think a lot of time it comes down to them, something personal going on with them. I think the self-love or an issue going, and then it's hard for you to be excited about a job where you're supposed to get people excited or want to do something or invest in something when you're yourself not happy. And that's why I think it always comes back to self-love in a lot of those cases. And if you are an employer who has the ability to provide mental health services to your people and you're not, please do. Please do, so that we can create a thriving world where people are practicing self love and are honoring each other and are happy to do the work that at your business.
Yeah. So let's talk about how do we develop self love. What are the areas? How do we get to a point where we are loving ourselves completely and fully? And I feel like there's 3 areas that we should focus on that will allow us. And I use these same 3 areas when it comes to coaching football. It's called 3-dimensional coaching, but it focuses on these areas. When it comes to self love, we have to attack the area of the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. So physically, I feel like we have to understand our bodies. We have to do what we need to stay in shape and to be here for a long time so we can do certain things and move certain ways. I feel like you should have a good workout regimen. I feel like you should eat well, you should eat better. Those are areas where I feel like we as humans start to neglect because especially with eating, right? Let's talk about eating real quick. Fast food is exactly what it is. Fast food. It's convenient, right? That's why we have convenience stores. It's convenient, and we're always on the move as people. But those fast foods also slow us down physically. Our life is moving so fast, and we're eating that stuff, but we don't understand. We don't see that slowly and surely we're starting to slow down physically. So we got to pay attention to what we're putting in our bodies and how much exercise and commitment we are to make sure our body's in the right place. Especially with me and you being diabetic, right? It's important that we do things the right way. Now, I'm telling you right now, 75% of the time, I'm not doing things the right way. Let's be real about it. But does that give me longevity? Is that truly self-love if I know I'm at this point in my life, I'm at this health level, but I'm still doing things the wrong way? Is that self-love? That's absolutely not. Right? So I think we got to focus on our physical aspect. So
Mine gonna go flip back to the physical and the mental because I think it plays a part in both. But one thing you got down here is health checks. This one thing I'm focusing on all year is every health check that I need to get, I'm going to get. I think we neglect those too much, and so whatever health checks you need to get, make sure that we're getting those. Especially if you have a condition, to make sure that you're doing those checkups that they're asking you to do. But what I also want the people, like people that want to focus on weight loss, and want to focus on their physical appearance. What I want us to do is look in the mirror and stop hating what we see. All right, there's a difference between hating what you see and wanting to be better. Right, I'm not in the best shape. I lost all my muscle mass. I'm a little jiggly in places. But I look in the mirror and say, "Hey, I like that kid right there." Right? So often we look in the mirror and don't like who we are. And people say, if you don't like who you are, change it. No, love who you are and want to make changes. Right? I don't like that saying. I don't like the saying of if you don't like who you are, change. No. I need you to first love who you are. Notice that there are some things you can get better at and make those changes. Right? I can be 300 pounds and be sexy, right? But I know I need to lose weight for my health and my betterment, and that's what I'm going to do. So many people go in hating themselves, and that creates anxiety, that creates depression, that creates stress. Because when you step on the scale and the pounds don't drop, you get a half a pound in a week,
I was going to
then
say that.
you fall into a depression. So love who you are, because there's more to you than your look. There's this, like there's more to you than your look. So work out for your betterment and still love yourself. Is all I'm saying. You can do that. You don't have to hate what you see to say, I need to go to the gym 4 times a week. I love what I see, but it can be better. Like I love what I see. I love who I am, but I can do better. That's fine. You don't have to hate it.
And that's where I'm at personally in my physical aspect. I'm back to working out and stuff like that. So I love who I am, but I do remember when I was in my best shape, how I felt and how I moved, and I do remember that. Now I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that feeling to where, right? So, but I don't 100% don't hate myself, and you're absolutely right that people that don't love themselves, especially just people that are super overweight, that have or anybody that has confidence issues, that don't love themselves to look in the mirror. You're right. When they step on the scale and they didn't lose as much as they thought they would, that's defeating. It's so defeat. Like for people who ain't never felt that, for me, I've experienced it before, right? So if you ever felt that, like it's super defeating. You keep working out, busting your butt, eating right. You step on the scale, it's like, man, I thought I lost at least 3 of them. And it's like 0.5 pounds. It's like it's defeating, right? So I 100% agree with you on that. But another level that go ahead.
Real quick, Doug, because you know one of the best parts of you know what our favorite movie is of all time. I mean, it's River Tides, the top of River Tides and Little Giants. If you ask me, you and Curtis, Little Giants probably one of our top favorite movies. But you know what the best part of that movie was when they got 1 yard. And it's like we got a yard, and the whole crowd and the team went crazy over gaining 1 yard. Right, that's a win. That yard, they didn't get a first down, they didn't get a touchdown, they got a yard. And that was a win. So it's okay to be happy with those wins, but so often we set these goals. I ain't gonna say unrealistic, some are realistic, but we set these goals and we don't achieve them, they create depression. So be in love with who you are, be in love with the small success.
It's gonna be got that one. They got that 1 yard, and what it did, created momentum. They eventually won the game. So that's one of the greatest movies of all time. So next level is the mental level, and this is a part of this mental level that probably gonna overlap into the spiritual. I personally believe in meditation. I believe in shutting everything down and clearing my mind. I believe focus on something now. Again, unapologetically Christian. So my meditation might be different from yours if you're not of the faith. My meditation might be listening to some gospel music and calming my heart and my mind so I can clear out. Because just think about it. You're a teacher, you're a principal, and I'm an accountant. Our minds throughout a day have so much stuff it's trying to figure out. So you have to shut your brain down. You have to shut it down. Yeah, you want to go watch TV, but you're still thinking about, I got this spreadsheet, this thing I need to do at work is I got to figure this out, man, but I couldn't get it. Like my mind personally just keeps working. So I have to shut it off. I got to shut it off. And music is a big thing for me. I love listening to music, gospel, jazz, some of the slower musics to calm my mind. I listen to hyper music to amp me up. Why not listen to the softer music to bring me down, right? So I love instrumentals where it's just classical music or something like that, where it's just playing jazz, gospel music. But it helps me, it stimulates my mind in a way opposite of what the day has brought me. So that stimulates my mind in a different way of focusing, the focus and the stimulation I got throughout looking at spreadsheets and crunching numbers and doing all that stuff all day. You got to find a way to meditate, or even if it's sitting down there and creating a breathing regimen, taking it like no music, no nothing, darkness, and it's great, or light, or some type of feng shui, where you're just creating calmness and breathing techniques to help you clear your mind and focus on other things and turn the corner. Meditation is huge for me. I don't know about you, but it's huge.
For me, you said one thing I was going to break up, and that's the breathing. Man, and if you struggle with how to do the breathing, that app on your Apple Watch, the breathing app, it gives you the timing and the pacing to do your breathing in a way that calms and relaxes you. But I think just sitting in the corner and just breathing, getting your breathing to get your heart rate down, to get you refocused is great. One thing I was also going to put on the mental is journaling. Journaling, just like you meditation, journaling is my go-to. Yeah, you're like, man, I'm not a preteen girl with a journal. No, I got an app on my computer where I journal when I need to get stuff off my chest and off my mind. I journal it, and it relaxes me and allows me to move on. Like Kevin, my mind never stops, and that's a superpower and it's a weakness, right? And so when if I got something on my mind, I journal it. If I'm feeling some type of way, I journal it, and I leave it in that journal, and it's so soothing, and I can move on to whatever next task I got moving forward. But that breathing, man, breathing helps a lot. And if you don't know how to do it, there's an app that looks like a blue flower on your Apple Watch. That's a breathing app that it'll give you the pacing for your breathing that'll help you calm down and calm your heart rate.
Yeah, we get down to the spiritual side. I got another form of journaling that I want to talk about. But also the mental unplugging, which I already talked about. Just unplugging. Get off social media. Get off the internet. Turn the TV off. You can do stuff around the house, but turn everything else off. Turn your phone off. Give yourself time for you. Helps you with self-love. Finding time for you. I'm not answering the phone for nobody that's calling me to gossip. Social media, I'm not looking at what somebody talked about or newest TikTok trend. I'm just focused on me at that moment, even if it's 15 to 30 minutes. Unplug, right? I try to unplug every year for social media. For a week, I turn no social media. Right? Try unplugging.
One of my ways of unplugging and it's unconventional, and it's for me. I go to the gun range. For some reason, me going to the gun range as a form of unplugging, having to zero in, having to focus, having to concentrate, having to relax my body, it does something. I'm just gonna lie, it does something for me. I shoot at the gun range and it's exhilarating. I leave and it feels like I breathe a breath of fresh air and I feel like I've reset and I recharged. Right. So find something that allows you to recharge. That's that unplugging. Find something that allows you to unplug and recharge so you're back to that 100%.
And I'm gonna jump to this last one on the mental side is therapy. We talked about therapy on a number of our podcasts. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If you need to if some stuff is weighing on you mentally, go talk to somebody. Especially in our community, we're afraid of the African American community. We're afraid of opening up ourselves to another person. It's big in the African American community, but I think it's everywhere. We're afraid to open up and to discuss stuff with somebody that don't know us. But I thought that's one thing people always say about therapy. Why I got to tell somebody that don't know me about me? That's the best person to tell something to. They have zero judgment. They have nothing. They know nothing about you. So open up yourself to them. For me, it's release. Instead of me going to my mom or to somebody else and trying to tell them everything that's going on, it's probably not as easy because maybe something that I want to release probably directly affect them also. It's easier to go to somebody who don't know anything, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. I think that I felt more relief and more exhilaration and more like, talking to my therapist than I'm talking to anybody else. Right? It's a way for somebody to see the situation with no judgment and not to tell you, well, this is what you should have done, this is what you could have done. To ask you, how did that make you feel? Right? It's about talking through your feelings and the emotions you have around whatever that is. And so I 100% agree. Everybody, man, like I said in I think not last week, but 2 weeks ago, I'm an advocate that everybody sees a therapist once a month or twice a month. I'm an advocate for that. I think it's had that much of a benefit in my life that I will advocate for that. And if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, Nakia Jones is a when it comes to that, is a miracle worker. Look her up.
Absolutely. And then we'll just jump to the third section I believe in is the spiritual section. Now, I know different people listen to the podcast will be of different spiritual beliefs. Maybe some of no belief. But we all know what we are. And I want to go back to your thing about journaling. The biggest spiritual way for you to find self-love for me is vocal journaling, i.e. prayer, right? When it comes to the spiritual side, so sometimes I sit down. I know some people get on their knees when they pray and all that, or if you're not of the Christian faith or whatever, they don't pray. But for me, sometimes I will sit down and I would just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I'm feeling, everything I was just on my mind, I'm just talking to nobody. Like I'm personally talking to somebody, but it's just I'm talking. It's like I'm journaling, but not on paper. This is my day. This is what I went through. This is my frustration. Just out in the open. It gives me a release. It's just like journaling, but just a vocal style of journaling. Like my faith prayer is big for me. I pray. I commit to prayer. And man, I'm not a perfect person at all. Like I am a daily sinner. I'm a daily sinner, right? So, but I believe in prayer. I think I believe somebody's listening. If you're a type of person that don't believe somebody listening, try vocal journaling. Like me praying. If that's what you don't want to feel like you're not praying. You're just talking your stresses out loud. I'm telling you, it's a release. It's a great release, and it makes me feel so light when I do it. So just try it, man.
So I know you're talking about vocal journaling, but I go back to journaling when it comes to spiritual and connected to that. What I do in my journaling, I am also unapologetically Christian, and I journal, Kev, and my journals typically are either I'm talking to myself about the stress I'm going through, I'm talking to God, and I tend to end them with the prayer. And the reason why I do that is because I can go back and revisit it.
Yeah.
Right? I can go back and revisit it if I need that comfort again, or I can go back and revisit it to see how far I've come from that. And so that's why I do it through the written because for those two reasons. But like you said, like people who listen to this are going to be religious or not, or they may believe in a higher power that's different, or they may be agnostic, they may be atheist. But having the opportunity to connect in who you're into, even if it's not a spiritual, to connect into your subconscious and just release and talk and live and relax in you. It works, y'all. I don't care if you don't, but like just find a way to relax in you. If you're atheist, find a way to relax in you. Sit down and just think about something peaceful, something you love, a joke, a show. Just to find a way to relax your mind and calm your body down. Just find a way to get inside you and release that stressors for the day and practice that self love. Just even if it's for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's definitely speaking about self love, right? In my opinion, what is the core of self love, right? Knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That is a spiritual aspect. Knowing who you are is a spiritual thing. And it's something where you have to dig. And the reason I say that is something where you have to dig deep inside you to figure out what it is. You have to understand. You have to sit back and you have to wonder and ponder and ask questions. And that's the key thing about self love. You have to ask questions. Ask yourself questions about who you are, and then from there you can decide what direction you need to go to better self love yourself or to strengthen the self love in you. But I personally believe that the self love is the core of it is knowing who you are, and the core of your spirit is knowing who you are. Right? I think that it all ties together. Like the difference between joy and happiness, right? Happiness, everybody can be happy. It's just like it's surface level, right? And joy is the happiness where no matter what's going on around me, I'm still happy inside. No matter what's going on around me, that's self love. That's self love. Find the inner joy. Find that joy. Yeah, I'm not. Things get me down, but you're not gonna see this happiness facade. Like, how's your day going? I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm happy. Everything's great, but in my inside, I'm destroyed. Something's eating me up down there. Find the inner joy. Find that spirit. Find that peace inside. That's the key to it.
Yeah, make it a priority, like you said. Self love has to become priority. We're not talking about overindulgence. We're not talking about narcissism. We're talking about just simply loving who you are, acknowledging who you are, respecting who you are, and working on the things that you want to get better at. At some
That's
point in
it.
time, it's okay to focus on you and not others. And so often in this world, we tend not to focus on ourselves. Either we hyper focus on ourselves, that becomes a narcissism and everything else, or we don't focus on ourselves and we become, oh, I hate to use the term, but we become controlled by our situations. So we got to find a happy medium in between that and say, hey, what is it that I need to be productive and to be happy and to love and to be a 100% energized version of me. And it's essential to your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health that you acknowledge those things and build upon them.
It's almost like, how can I be good for anybody else if I'm not good for myself?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible. How can I be good for anybody else if I'm not good for myself? It's simple.
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta love me, man. I gotta love me. And hey, I tell y'all one thing. KFG, love him some KFG. I can promise you that. I can promise
Yeah,
you that.
boy. Joyce, here you go.
Go ahead and tell your sticker story though, man, before we get out of here. You know you
No,
want to
no,
tell it.
I ain't going to. Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all. Check it out, man. This how you gonna let Kevin practice self love, man. So one day we was at Blackburn College, man, and
Gotta let this
I had
go.
scholarship money. I got all my scholarship money, and I had off my school. I had a full scholarship. I didn't need to pay for nothing, so that was just money to me. So we had football gear, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pay for Kevin football gear. Man, I'll tell you, take care of, pay this little $100 and some for him to get his football, warm ups and stuff like that. Be a blessing to my little brother, And I was like, and I just did out the kindness of my heart. Hey, y'all, no longer than about 5 minutes later, he went and bought a Snicker from the bookstore, right? I said, Kevin, let me get a piece. Man, why bro snap on me? Man, you always big and you always want something. Yeah, I just spent over $100 on bro. Like literally 5 minutes prior. He
Bro, you
snapped
gotta
on me
let
over
this go, bro.
a piece of a Snicker though. Yeah, a piece
You
of a
gotta let
Snicker.
this go.
Man, we talking about this until we 90, man. A piece of a
It's like
Snicker.
almost 20 years ago, bro.
Man, I ain't never letting it go. A piece of a Snicker though. I can add a little piece of a Snicker, man. But
But
you
man,
want the
you know,
warm ups.
hey, but back in that day, I was on a whole nother mental aspect though. It wasn't too much self
Yeah,
love going on back then,
yeah, that's why they called you the evil twins for a reason.
or maybe too much self love. How about that?
Yeah. But y'all, man,
Yeah,
a
man.
Snicker, man.
Yeah, man. But seriously, in all seriousness, man, love yourself, man. Find out how to love yourself, no matter what it takes, man. Share everybody else, and when I say share everybody else, I mean family, kids, friends, man, and put yourself in the box. Like, I'm not talking about shut them off completely, but put yourself in the box for a little bit on your meditation and figure out who you are. Figure out who you are and love, being able to love who you are, and then coming back and saying, okay, let me fix these things. I feel like these are problem areas. Right? Take time to do it.
You're no good to anybody if you're not good for yourself.
Absolutely. Love you, man. All right, man. That's TuVues, man. We out of here, man. Love yourself and also love other people, man. Love them.
And we love y'all.
TuVues, we out of here.